Josh Green here for SecondsOut. Delighted to be joined today in Wembley by Wasserman's Kalle Sauerland. Look, this is a huge opportunity for Josh Kelly on this card. Excited, Kalle?
I'm excited for a lot of things after today. I mean, you've got to say the card, what His Excellency Dr. Khan bringing the Riyadh season, obviously we've just had the Undisputed. Los Angeles Riyadh season card looks insane. I mean, the main event, Crawford Madrimov, is a brilliant fight, but the card is equally as impressive, and it's sort of mirrored here today. You've got a banging main event. Like, before you ask me about that fight, I'll quickly tell you what that fight is dynamite. That fight is
Daniel Dubois is dynamite.
Well, sorry, excuse the pun, but the fight is. It's electrifying. If you like heavyweight boxing, this is really, it does what it says on the tin. You know, this is going to be such an old school tear up. It will be. So I disagree with Frank. You said it's about the jab. Yeah, we want to talk about it technically, but it's the overhand rights. It's going to just be absolutely like you don't go get a cup of tea during that fight. Time it well. But it's the card. It's like the main event. Yes, brilliant. But it's the card. The depth in that card is. How many fights are on there? What is it? Six to the. But they're all main events, right? Every single one is a main event from top to bottom. Different types of main events. I'm not saying they're all Wembley Stadium main events, but. They're phenomenal main events, and I'll bring it onto our fight on there. You know, Liam Smith, Josh Kelly could be in the Manchester arena, could be in the O2, could be in any big arena, but it's on a part of a card. So Josh is there to steal that show, and his storyline. And I said to him, look, a lot of boxers go and write books after their careers and whatever, and when he one day retires, his storyline's phenomenal up to now, and it just keeps going. And this is like, we've tried to make this fight for a long time, and I think we did an interview not so long ago where it was, a question of how, what's happening next with Josh Kelly, and I said it's something big, because last year we focused on the world rankings. We fought two guys out of the top 10. Got to the top of the WBO rankings, got to the top of the IBF rankings, and now it's time for one of those blockbusters. I love them, as everyone knows. I like to put these British blockbusters together, and that creates names. Everyone knows Josh Kelly who's into boxing. They've known Josh Kelly for years because he's one of the most talked about talents since the amateurs, but this is the moment to break into the mainstream on this platform, and that's the exciting part. And again, the story, being out in the cold, coming back, putting his stuff together. He's done phenomenally well under Adam Booth, and just can't wait for September 21st.
The weight is going to be something that's mentioned. Obviously, going up to middleweight is a big step for Josh, moving up to 160. Liam's obviously nearer the end of his career than he is the start. Is that something that you feel Josh can exploit in this fight?
I don't look at it like that. And people have asked me that, like, is this the right? You picked Liam at this time, and I don't see it like that. I mean, sorry, but last year Liam Smith knocked out Chris Eubank Jr. So I don't look at it like that. I look at it as in this is Josh's time. It doesn't matter who I put in front of him. It wasn't him who said I want Liam Smith. It was sort of me and Adam who said that's the right path to go. But it could have been any of those names around, and I've said this before, around the 160 mark. And I know, there's guys at 154, there's also some guys at 147, but there's a lot of fighters that can fight around this weight class, and that's in the UK, and that's super interesting.
What does this do for Josh Kalle's position in terms of getting him towards a world title fight? Obviously, starting off in a new division, a little bit sort of from scratch.
It's high risk. It's high risk, but no risk, no reward, and it's high risk in terms of we've already got the mandatory position basically. So whatever we do, but at the same time, he could fight now against the IBF champ, or wait for Crawford fight. Waiting again, this fight makes sense in terms of so many things, and apart from that, it's a fans fight. It's a fight that the British public British boxing public can really get their teeth into.
I've got one more question, so I've got to pick it carefully. Tyson Fury, he came out a few days ago now and said the fight against Usyk, in his words, was easy. Considering he lost that fight and he's now going into a rematch, where does that, if you look at those comments, where do you think his head's at?
I don't want to sound like people say, "Oh, you're crackers," what. But I understand what he's saying. He had moments, especially in the earlier rounds, where I felt he was playing, and I felt he was in maybe third gear out of 6, but he never went into those other gears. It was toying. And then, of course, the moment came when he got caught, and I think it was fights now. I've watched so many fights in between then, but I think it was around the 5th or 6th round. He had a great round. You expected him to go into the next round and really up it, because he was on the ascendancy, let's say. He didn't do that. Usyk got the better of him in the next round, and it was sort of so. Crikey, they're putting off the fireworks for the interview here. Look at this. Fireworks just went off, in case you didn't see that. Don't think that was planned.
You planned it, didn't you?
Better. More fireworks, the better, eh? But no, ultimately, I can see what he's saying. But people, if you watch the fight, you don't watch that much boxing, I guess you'll think, what's he on about? It was a very close fight. If you score the fight, score it, it's a close fight. And I can't wait for the rematch. Honestly, can't wait for the rematch. It's a very close fight. For me, Usyk nicked it, but it was a very close fight.
Just one more reflecting on the weekend. Obviously, Lyndon Arthur got back to winning ways against Liam Cameron. Fantastic scrap. We know Lyndon didn't make the weight as well. Is that an issue, a concern going forward?
Wow. Not making the weight is never ideal, is it? And it's something that he'll look at, and Pat will probably have taken his ears off for it, because Pat is a real disciplinarian. I must admit, I didn't quite understand what happened, despite me actually doing the weigh-in. But he went off stage and immediately had a drink. What he should have done was walk off stage and strip down, get a towel out, stand on the thing, and it would have been on weight. So when we say missed weight, it's a bit like, it's a bit, yeah. I'm getting reeled in by the Dark Lord here. It's got to go.
Got to go. Cheers for your time, Kalle.
Thank you.